rise and fly, go!
How you doing? Welcome to 24K Movies, Reviews, TV, and Video Games. It is 2023, and during the Halloween season, unfortunately, I, like most people, I was sick with COVID, so I couldn't get these out. But 2023 is the start of justice for the movie industry and the TV industry, and hopefully for video games. So we are going to be reviewing the long overdue Halloween franchise. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Halloween franchise, 45 years ago, that's right, 45 years ago, 4 decades, a movie franchise was started with the synonymous, iconic name Michael Myers. Who would have thought a man in a William Shatner mask, bleached, would have changed the world? And last year, in 2022, Halloween Ends. 45 years after the first movie finally ended. Now, I do not know if this is the complete end for the series, but I do know it is the complete end for Jamie Lee Curtis. So, her storyline is over. It's done with. Whatever they do with the franchise from here, it's up to them. But for her part, it's over with. But we are going to concentrate on the entire franchise because it's had some ups, it had some downs, and in about 2018 they decided to go back and do a direct sequel from the first movie, which null and voided pretty much every other movie in the series, which was a ballsy move, but I think they stuck the landing on it because it turned out great for me. Now, a lot of people do not like the Halloween Ends movie. I am not among them. I loved it. I understood it. I understood where they were coming from, and I understood the essence of evil changing from one form to another because it's never truly destroyed. And that the town of Haddonfield had in fact created this evil that became the entity known as Michael Myers. The bullying, the anger, the hostility shaped synonymously with the name The Shape, which is what Michael Myers is referred to. He's never referred to as Michael Myers in literary sense. He was known as The Shape because evil can change shape, no matter who it's in. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the last film in the franchise. I could go through every film in its entirety for 13 movies, and there were positives and downs and what the fuck moments and crazy moments. But we're going to concentrate on how they ended the franchise. The Moustapha Akkad vision and John Carpenter's vision for what this series was. So we're going to do the direct sequel, which was there was Halloween. Oddly enough, they named Halloween. That's become a thing in recent years where you name your sequel the name of the first movie. It's confusing, but Halloween, then it was Halloween Kills, and then finally Halloween Ends. So, first thoughts, Halloween Ends. I didn't know where they were gonna go with it, and I for one went into it with an open mind, which I'm kind of glad that I did because I was able to appreciate the movie much more. A lot of soaked and saturated minds didn't get the understanding of what it was. So basically the essence, the shape, the evil known as Michael Myers is dying. The body has run and become almost a husk. The only thing that drives that husk is to kill. It had nothing to do with him murdering his sister and going back and murdering Jamie Lee Curtis's sister. For him, the kill on this night, the essence of evil was strongest on this night. So here we are, Halloween again, and the scene enters another person being bullied. A lot. Now, we're not talking about the Rob Zombie one. In the Rob Zombie one, we know Michael was bullied. We know the kind of life he grew up in. but in the original, we didn't see that, so we can't take from that. All we know is what Donald Pleasence said, God rest his soul. When I first encountered Michael, I understood that what was lurking behind his eyes was pure, unadulterated evil. He had the darkest eyes, the blackest eyes. Now, the reason why I concentrate on that quote is because there's an actual verbatim scene in Friday the 13th. Halloween Ends. Wow. So many white mask killers in movies to choose from. And Halloween Ends. Verbatim, there's a line where the main character, and there's some spoilers. Sorry, some spoilers, but I ain't gonna totally kill it for you if you haven't seen it. I mean, let's face it, it's been months now. If you haven't seen it, that's on you. But one of the new characters, this guy that's being bullied in the town of Haddonfield, similarities to pretty much everybody can understand being bullied and the things that they go through. He's thrown down this embankment where he comes across this cave. Now, at first, somebody grabs him and pulls him into the cave. We didn't know who did it. Destiny, it's like Chucky. You know how Chucky does the Damballa chant, changes itself into other people. It's still the same entity, it just changes body and form. This is the same thing that was happening here, and it went over a lot of people's heads. A lot of people didn't get that this evil was. So the husk of Michael latches on to this boy, and it wasn't until he grabbed the boy and was going to kill him that he looked into him and saw something that the essence could attach to. So he imprinted some of that evil and essence onto this child, well, this teenager. From the moment they looked into the eyes, I got it. I understood it. I knew exactly what was going down. For everybody else that went over the head, they didn't get it, whatever. This is beyond you. We're talking about fans of the franchise, and we're talking about Halloween. So, I'm not going to do it verbatim, but basically this kid takes the essence of Michael and starts to dispense justice himself. Now, Michael's first killing is a bum under this underpass, and that gives his blood and strength the ability to grow stronger. And then as every time this new person kills, Michael is fueled by the kill and grows stronger and stronger and stronger. So, and ultimately, rather than transferring his full self into this teenager, he uses him as a conduit to give him more energy. You've seen the same thing in Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger. Killing people fuels him, the souls give him strength. It's the same thing. Nothing has changed. Now, once this kid starts to latch on to Laurie Strode's character again, and this is the reason why I say that Donald Pleasence's line speaks volumes, because from the moment Laurie Strode looks into this kid's eyes, now she's seen him before because her daughter was hanging around with him, so she's seen this kid before. But the moment Michael's essence is in him, she looks at him and she sees something behind his eyes. That look that she sees in him is Michael, and she recognizes it, and from Jump Street she's already on game point and knows what to do. Nobody else can tell, but she does. But it's not true, because while that same kid is walking down the street, a car pulls up to him, and he's branded the Candyman because he was babysitting a kid who knew he was a little bit special needs and locked him into a closet and basically did some bastard stuff to him. I mean, like I said, it's Haddonfield, people are evil. So him being angry and freaking out in a closet, as anybody with those kinds of fears and that kind of mentality would, he kicks the door open and knocks the kids off the balcony. The kid dies, they blame him, they brand him the Candyman. And of course in these movies, everybody blames the innocent person and not the asshole. They did it in The Sixth Sense, they did it in The Village. Pretty much just a trope, a horror trope. They do it all the time. So the parents, one of the parents, the father of this kid, sees him walking down the street, and he calls out to him and he looks at him. And later on, when he's describing the look in the bar, he said he had the blackest eyes the darkest eyes. I've known this kid all my life, and that wasn't him that I saw. And I say this because it lets you know the recognition of evil entity in this boy. It's Michael. He literally is transferring this energy into him. But that went over so many people's heads. It's very simple and an easy concept to grasp. I don't get why most people couldn't get it. I did. It was instant. It was instantaneously. So as he goes about terrifying this neighborhood and pretty much taking out all the bullies, which, am I supposed to be angry that he took out all the bullies that teased him and hurt him and treated him bad? No. Who am I supposed to be rooting for? I was rooting for Michael in this movie. So after he finishes that, he decides he wants to be Michael. The part of him that's still human decides, I can do this now. I've killed so many people. I want to be the Michael Myers. So he goes back and faces off with Michael Myers, and Michael Myers is still not strong enough. So he's able to capitalize on Michael. And a lot of people was like, there's no way he could beat Michael Myers. Yes, it is, because he's weakened. He's in a weakened state. He is not in his power. He does not have his power. So I digress. As he decides to take out Laurie Strode, Laurie's already ready for him. She's been through this before. This isn't the first time. This isn't the first occasion. Like I said, 45 years she's been through it. So of course she ends him and ends the threat. And her daughter hates her for this because she doesn't understand. And this is the one thing that I do say I didn't agree with the movie. This kid was raised by her mother, Laurie Strode. She was raised about learning about Michael, learning how to defend herself. And in the last two movies, Michael proved to be true. He proved to come back. He even killed her mother, Laurie's daughter. So she knows full well that she's not crazy, that she's telling you the truth. But whatever, for whatever reason, she runs out of her mom thinking her mom is crazy and killed her boyfriend, and we went down a trope we didn't have to. But normally when Michael Myers is met, there's always a thing that he comes back, and you know he comes back, you know he's gonna come back. That's just the way these things go. In this one, when Michael shows up to the house and literally bends down and takes the rest of his essence from this kid so that he's full 100% Michael Myers again, Laurie and him face off in a battle, and it's a battle that I liked better than Halloween Kills, and it's better than the 2018 Halloween movie. I like this fight better because it wasn't like she was super powerful or he was super powerful. He still was the unstoppable force, but she was the immovable object. So of course you know what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. There literally is just a stalemate. Except for this time, she was able to capitalize on it. From all the scarring, the scar tissue, the anger and fear. It's kind of like if you beat a dog. You can beat a dog so many times before one or two things will happen. It'll either roll over and die or it will attack you. And she was to the point where she had nothing to lose. She was willing to die because she was going to kill herself. But she fought Michael to the win. And the way she wins, I'm not going to spoil it for you, was Shakespearean. She made sure that he wasn't going anywhere. She made sure that his life essence was going to bleed out and die with him. And if that wasn't enough, her daughter does come back, realizing, coming to her sense, her daughter does come back. And they strap him to the roof of a car, driving him through town, letting people see this evil that everybody thought was dead, but that they knew was alive. Which I liked on so many facts, because the police officer and everybody, Michael has plagued this town for 45 years. It's time to end and take back what he has stolen from these people for 45 years. And thus the name, Halloween Ends. So as they drive him back to this junkyard thing, there is a one of those things that crunch metal and literally combines everything in, and they literally crunch the living shit out of him. So this essence, this body, is completely destroyed. That's why I get the whole Halloween Ends thing. And if I mean, quite sure if they wanted to make another movie, they could say his spirit goes into the boy, because the boy was just killed, so he had the essence in him, so somehow he can come back and do killing, which I understand. That was the idea, to show that the evil will keep going, including in this new boy. But for Laurie's story, it ends. For her and her life, this is the end of her story with Michael. It's not going to be a Michael anymore. So even if they decide to go forward, which I don't know whether they would, but with 13 movies, who can tell? So there was a scene in the movie that I don't know if anybody caught. I was one of the people that did, and I conferred with a lot of other people. There's a scene where his blood goes down and drips onto her feet. Now, I don't know if the essence can be transferred that way, and I know there was some form of, if Michael is alive, she's alive, and if she's alive, Michael is alive. They're kind of like two sides of a coin, like a duality. But there was a scene where when the blood touched her, they showed her reflection in this glass table, or whatever kind of table it was. They showed her reflection looking down, and for a second there was a shimmer, as if he had attached something to her as well. Like I said, I don't want it to go anywhere. I was quite happy with the way it ended, and I was satisfied with Halloween End. Like I said, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 movies. 13 movies in this series. But we are only concentrating on, like I said, the 4. Let me get to that scene I was telling you about. That's the beginning scene. Don't need to go too far into that. I knew from the beginning though this kid was evil. I don't know why. Yeah, that was the whole scene. That was the whole scene that I was talking about. So, 13 movies. How does it stack up? Amongst the horror franchise, it is one of the best. It is one of the iconic. When you think of the Masters of Horror, Michael Myers is definitely a part of it. The strength, the whole ideal that surrounds him. Whether you like all 13 movies or whether you did not like 6 or 7 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them, out of 13 movies, there had to be one that you like. I mean, even the one with Buster. Was it Buster Rhymes? No, that wasn't. Yeah, that was Buster Rhymes. Yeah. Was that Michael? Yeah, Buster Rhymes. Yeah. Like I said, the entire franchise as a whole is a full meal. There's something for everybody. We're dealing with one 2018 Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Now, Halloween Kills I liked because it just was the title. He murdered everything and everybody in it, and I enjoyed that as well thoroughly, but a lot of people didn't like that. But when it comes to horror movies as a whole in the genre, you have to give it to the Halloween franchise. I mean, billions of dollars. So obviously there was a market for it. I just wish that market would end, and I hope there's not any more. But as a whole, my thoughts on Halloween Ends is I'm going to give it platinum. I'm going to give it platinum. Why the idea and the concept may have went over so many people's heads, it didn't go over mine. And verbatim, I've seen so many movies that I latched onto it. I knew what was happening. I understood the mechanics. I understood what was going on. And bravo, I gave it to you. So 2022 Halloween Ends, we give it a platinum ranking. So thank you for sticking around with me. We're going to be doing more of these. We're going to be getting out there and doing more, because you need to know from a real person to a real person how these movies are. I mean, some things are great and amazing, and some things are absolutely dog shit, and I don't know why they spent money on them. Okay, so stay tuned later on in 2023. We'll be reviewing The Last of Us, my hope for a TV series. The first, like I said, I'm quite long in the tooth, but I've been alive long enough to know that they haven't nailed it one time in 40 years for gaming to a movie or TV series. So The Last of Us, it seems good. I like the backing behind it. I like the minds, Naughty Dog. I like the people involved, and I like that HBO is running with the ball. Like I said, the Rings of Power, that was another one that shocked me. We'll be doing that as well. So much to do. But stay tuned in the coming weeks and months for all my content. So don't forget to like and subscribe and take a look at this channel. And thank you for joining 24K Movies, TV, and video game reviews. I'm Rain. Take care.